I truly think that you marry for love, right? Otherwise, especially for women, there's no real other good reason you should get married, really.
The root cause of gender inequality, or at least in the pay gap that we have, is pregnancy.
I don't think I grew up thinking I have to run a house.
Right.
It wasn't what men face in the sense of you have to earn.
I almost feel like the importance of a manager for women is slightly higher than it is for a man.
Some people have a different priority because they maybe don't want to work also. We need to be very honest and understand where you are.
How do you reason with this situation and on the other hand say that we are equal? I'm going to be the devil's advocate here and also honest. I have always looked at life coaching as subsidiaries of the Jay Shetties of the world who are going around giving gyan. Hello and welcome to the NJ Show. We have with us today Krusha Sahjwani. I am very excited to introduce Krusha, especially because this is our first female guest on the podcast, which is sad on my part. I should do a better job, and I will. But let me quickly introduce Krusha before we jump into the conversation. And I'm really excited for this because there are a lot of touchy topics that we are going to talk about. So Krusha is the director of Sociabble Asia. She's also a published author, which is amazing. I envy authors a lot. And she's also a certified life coach, certified by ICF. Of course, she's the founder of the Pink Project, and more importantly, she's a mom and a wife, which we'll get to in this conversation as well. So thank you, Krusha, for making time. I'm very excited for this conversation, but let's start with what matters the most. Your childhood, what shaped you, and what do you think were the connecting dots when you look back to what brought you to Sociable and to be a life coach? So pivotal moments as you grew up and things that you think were critical in shaping you.
So I grew up in Bombay. Thank you for having me here, firstly. I grew up in Bombay, definitely a Bombay girl. I spent most of my life also in South Bombay, if I have to be specific.
Most South Bombay people do that.
Yeah. No, I was also doing it to acknowledge my privilege to everything else I'm going to say today before I'm called out on it.
Yeah.
My childhood was great, honestly. I think if I think to pivotal moments, one, I definitely grew up surrounded by a lot of family and love, which is why I think making decisions like coming back to India, not wanting to settle abroad, definitely knowing I want to have a baby. I think like all these things always, I knew it was just
no-brainers.
It was no-brainers for me because it just made up such an important part of life. I didn't see the idea to do life without that.
Yeah.
So that was one. I think I was always pushed to do a lot in school. I loved my school, if I have to say. I had an amazing school life where whether it was academics, whether it was taking part in extracurriculars from dance to debates to absolutely everything, writing, even things I was not so good at like painting, I still did all of it, singing.
You were extroverted through and through?
I think so, if you use the word. I call myself an ambivert. My brother hates it. He's like, you're either an extrovert or an introvert because he's an introvert. He's like, you're an extrovert. But I think I'm an ambivert. But anyway.
But you sound like the first bencher kid who was doing their homework on time.
If I have to answer that, I think I was a third bencher.
Somewhere in the middle.
I was not like the stupid because I did a lot of extracurriculars and because I still like had my dating life. I had all of that.
Yeah.
My like studies were not just my world, but I enjoyed studying. I enjoyed competitions. I enjoyed winning dance and winning debates and winning writing. And I think that definitely early on gave me one thing, which was confidence.
Got it.
Which I think a lot of girls, especially in terms of skill or like, beyond academics, like work, I think very early on I heard a lot of, you're really good at this, she'll do something. I think it sticks with you.
So in terms of what sticks with you, a lot of discouragement that I hear a lot of my female peers saying that they were asked to not dream enough, they were asked to limit their aspirations, or they grew up in an environment where they internalized oppression. Not in a very extreme way, but the little things like ye kyun pehenna hai, ye kyun khana hai, important things like why do you want to pursue higher studies to basic things like why do you want to come home late. So tell me about those things, because I have heard that those things form a very integral part of your personality even when you grow up. But
Yeah.
I can't empathize with that problem as a man. You let me know
No,
what
I
you
think,
went through.
we have to first acknowledge, and I really believe this. I don't think, see, most parents, when you have a baby, and I can say this even more now that I am a mom,
Yeah.
I don't think you ever want to do something intentionally to not let your kid have a good life, right?
Yeah.
So, where are those things coming from in terms of don't dream big, etc.? In fact, if you'll see, they're still telling girls to dream big. It's
Yeah.
just they're not telling them to have the same kind of dreams.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They're
Yeah.
still maybe telling them to dream about that big marriage, or
Yeah.
to dream about. So they want their children to be happy.
Yeah.
But it's just that in their world, with their belief system and what they know,
Yeah.
they think the recipe for their girl to be happy
Yeah.
is to put her energy here,
Yeah.
right?
The definition is different.
The definition is different. Or even things like, you have to think about the fact, but I grew up with a lot of support, but it's not like I was not told, that my mother was not worried about the time I came home or what I
Yeah.
wore, things like. It's because she cared about me, right? It's
Yeah.
not the alternate. It's because the world is, set up in such a way that they have to worry about these
True.
things. So first thing we need to understand, it's coming from the right intention. It's not
Yeah.
coming from, we don't want her to have everything. It takes a lot, though. I want to give my mom a lot of credit here, because what did she do in those situations? She was still worried. What she did, I was allowed to go out
Yeah.
at night and have my fun, but she always needed to know who I'm with.
Yeah.
She had their numbers. She made sure I was picked and I was dropped, but I
Yeah.
could go out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And she took that. She probably didn't sleep well till I was
Of
home.
course,
She
of course.
took that on her, right?
Yeah.
Or when she sent me to Paris, it was a big deal. I was going into a different country. I grew up protected. I didn't grow up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
completely. I still grew up in a protected Indian family. To go and live alone in a country where I don't know the language, I don't know anybody, and I lived in a studio apartment I didn't even want roommates. I really put her through,
Yeah.
the ringer there. And she stood up for me. And yes, again, she came with me. She came to Paris to settle me.
Wow.
She saw the house.
So here's where your privilege kicks in now.
Yeah, exactly. Lots
Yeah.
of privilege, right? She came, she settled me. She would talk to me on the phone from my walk from office to home every day.
Mm-hmm.
If I decided to go out for dinner one of those days with the time difference, it was so late here, she would still talk to me till I entered my house and I slept. So my point was, I was allowed to do everything, but it came with a lot of her
Yeah.
taking
It
the more
cost her.
difficult route. Yeah, it cost her, right? She's glad about it now, but I mean, at the end of the day,
I think, yeah, those sacrifices to me, in hindsight, seem crazy. Even today, I'm 29 and I tell my mom, like, I can be out whenever I want. Why are you so worried? But for us to have that license growing up, somebody has to sacrifice because you can't change their mindset
Yeah.
overnight. But did you try to fight ideologies as a teenager, in your early 20s, or was it a cakewalk? Tell us about friends, extended family, without naming names, but how was it like in terms of trying to protect yourself from their biases and also trying to bring about change, because that begins at home. What
now-
convinced you that you had to go to Paris?
I think I work a lot with gut. But for me, it was just, okay, now's the time. I knew, once you're in your 30s, you can still do it again. Now the
Yeah.
world has changed, I think. But at least when I was younger, it felt like, after a point, you're going to have a job, you're going to have maybe a marriage and everything else, which I was looking forward to. But this
Yeah.
was my time for an adventure.
Got it. But you were sure at the time and even growing up that you wanted to pursue your career with the same seriousness that your partner would, for example.
100%. Yeah, I think that comes from, though I will be honest, I have to be honest here because that's a realization I've had later. I think I 100% knew that I'm going to pursue my career and I'm going to have a lifelong career, because learning is something that is very, I think now that I've grown up and also become a coach, I reflect on beliefs and things like that a
Yeah.
lot. I know learning, like lifelong learning for me is very important. It's one of the things that keep me happy. That being said, money, it's an important topic. I don't think I grew up thinking I have to run a house. You know,
Got
the
it.
difference, I think, is a very important difference, because when we talk about gender equality or equity,
Yeah.
this is one of the main topics. I never had the pressure to earn. I had a desire to earn, but I'm trying to find the right words. I had the desire to earn, but that desire was mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't what men face in the sense of you have to earn because you're running a household.
So how do you try to balance that contradiction? For example, as a powerful modern woman, you would want to uh, fight for equality, which is in most cases trying to uplift yourself or get the rights that you've been deprived of, or maybe you've not been deprived of. But when you talk about pursuing a career, how do you think like a woman like you, who's in a similar phase or who was in a similar phase that you were in, should think about that responsibility? Do you think in hindsight or maybe going ahead, you now see more equal responsibility of contributing to the house? Or do you think women by default don't grow up feeling that pressure in general, so that's not ingrained in them?
It's not ingrained in them for the most part, but it's very custom. Again, I think it's very wrong when we generalize, because generalizations don't work. For example, why was it not ingrained in me? I came from privilege.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think about meeting basic daily bills. My
Yeah.
basic needs were all taken care of.
Got it.
So my desire to earn was, I wanted to travel, I wanted to do this, and it was there inherently कि हाँ, in the future I want to take care of myself, right? I want to pay for myself.
Yeah.
But it wasn't properly, today, when I fast forward to today, I am running the household with my husband, right?
Yeah.
We are paying for my child's education together. We are saving together for any trip we take, it's equal. If we buy a car, we are both doing it, right? That is my reality today.
But it wasn't
But
the plan.
it wasn't, I wouldn't even say plan, it just wasn't as, planned
Not
out.
pressing
And
or-
yeah, it wasn't as clear to me as it was probably to my husband. My husband knew all along that this is his life, right?
Got it.
What he didn't know, maybe he wasn't probably sure whether he'll have a wife who exactly pays
Yeah.
half of the things. So maybe
Yeah.
that side of it was missing for him. But again, to your point of, should girls think about this? Probably the girls who are coming from different backgrounds sometimes do think about it.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about different situations. What if you're an only child, you're a girl, and you want to take care of your parents, right?
Yeah.
Later.
Then that perspective is totally different.
Is there pehle say you want to make sure you're earning enough because you want to retire your parents or whatever it is. Your why is very different. You know what I mean? So some people are already taking care of it. And again, it depends of now more and more. I think a lot of women are seeing it from that because you have a lot of nuclear families.
Yeah.
Inflation is high. It's also, no matter where you come from, a lot of times you need double income to to live the lifestyle you want to live.
I almost feel like it's an optional thing for a woman to have a career unless it's needed.
Unless
Nobody's,
it's the need.
encouraging it. But let's say in this case you did it because you really wanted to have a career and enjoy high growth professional life. You moved out of Paris, or you completed your education in Singapore. I
Yeah.
believe.
So let me go back a little.
Yeah.
I did CA.
Oh, you're a chartered accountant by profession?
I'm not. I'll
Okay.
explain that. So basically, like I said, I was always a good student. Now there's a lot of options. It's crazy how much the world changes in just a few years. But when I got into college, when I was going to college, I didn't like science. I only liked biology. I was not good at physics and chemistry. It was not my thing.
Yeah.
I was a good student. So my only choice was commerce because arts was not seen as
Yeah.
an option. If you're a good student, you couldn't take it, right? At that point. So I took commerce. Again, in commerce, we have what options we had. If you were a good student, you do CA.
CA
So
with
I did
BCom,
CA and I love studying. So I didn't have an issue till I was studying. CPT, honestly, is a scam because it's multi-questions. You study, you give it, you pass.
Yeah.
Then they're like, now study for IPCC. I studied for IPCC also, and honestly, I didn't hate it because I love studying.
Yeah.
But I knew what comes next, articleship. And I think there was a voice continuously telling me as I got closer to that exam, okay, what is coming after this? You're not going to like it.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm a creative person. I think now that everything I'm doing is much more aligned.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know exactly. I just knew, okay,
It's
this
too
is
early
not
to know.
it.
Yeah.
So I gave my IPCC exam. If for the ones who know CA will know that there are two groups. There's group 1
Yeah.
and there's group 2.
Yeah.
And each group has 4 papers, if I'm not wrong. I gave I walked out of the last paper because I'd studied. So I knew the paper, and I knew that if I give the fourth paper, sorry, I gave only
Oh, wow.
three. I just didn't give the last one, which will qualify me. I knew if I give it, then my internal plus external noise would be, now you've given it only, it's so tough to pass IPCC.
Might as well.
Now you might as well do your 3 years of artificial, then you might as well give a final CA, and my 5 years of life was going in my head in front of me like that. So I didn't give the fourth
Yeah.
paper. I honestly didn't think about it as much. You should. I'm not promoting this,
Yeah.
but I didn't. And I passed the third paper that I gave only half
Yeah.
because I'd studied, and I didn't give the fourth paper, so I didn't qualify. So I'm not a CA, and I'd left
Love
CA.
it. But you could have been.
I could have been, maybe. No regrets there. Maybe that last paper just to have that.
I dropped out myself. But anyway.
There's so many dropout CA stories. I think they make for the best ones. Anyway, so I finished that. And it's not even like I left CA with this whole determination. No, but I want to do this, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
I don't want to do
I just
this.
don't want to do this. No kidding, real story. I called Just Dial. Because I said, what to do? I like weddings. Maybe I'll do wedding planning. Bad idea. I called Just Dial, and I'll be as real as I can. I didn't want to travel too much.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to find a job that is relatively close by, so I'm not spending my entire day in traffic.
Yeah.
And maybe wedding planning. So I found an event company finally. I went for the interview. I got the job. They were only paying me like very little and the transport money and all.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'll learn. I hated it because I love schedules and I'm a morning person.
Yeah.
This was all like, okay, event is happening at night. Come, I said, this is still not going to happen. But I was still there. And luckily, within a few weeks only, there was a sister company. It's a PR company
Yeah.
in the same building. And I met one of the bosses there, who is a female. So my first boss
Yeah.
is a female. And we got on. I loved what she was doing. It was public relations. I'd never done it before. I was 19.
Yeah.
I said, okay, she said, why don't you just come join my team for a bit? I was an intern, not so much of a problem to move me from one place to the other. So I joined her. Her name is Jashoda Madhavji, by the way. I'm still friends with her. She's great. It was an all-girls team. So my first job, imagine, was an all-girls team with a female boss. You don't get luckier than that. And I was there for 2.5 years. I didn't know, what I knew was that time I was loving it. I learned a lot, things like basic email writing the best kind of emails,
Yeah.
PR. So I was just reaching out to like newspapers, things like that. She was doing a lot of music. So we had a lot of music clients. I did Swedish House Mafia, A.R. Rahman, all of those backstage and all these. So as a 19-year-old, I was like, wow,
Dream
like
come
great
true.
job.
Yeah.
And I think when I got to the 2-year mark, again, I saw the people at the top in that company and I
Yeah.
said, I'm not aiming for this. Like, I think I've got what I wanted. I don't know what's next.
It's like
but
you're being a tease to most of the professionals.
But then I was like, okay, I've got what I wanted of this. I don't know what's next again, but it's not this anymore. So again, I left. And then after 2.5 years, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I said, what's next? And I started looking at social media because it made sense. And I've learned PR. And this could now be the digital side of things. And I learned that. So I applied for a couple of social media jobs. I got a few. And I started working at another social media startup. And I was there for 6 months. I got promoted very quickly, luckily. And I did like Myntra Fashion Week, the first one that was happening. And I did a lot of their social media. And they were very happy, touchwood, with the work. And it grew well. And then when they gave me another promotion 6 months later, I didn't take it.
Why?
Because again, I felt like...
Oh my God.
I felt that's when I said, now if I don't make a concrete change, I'm just going to be jumping. I need to take some time to think. And that's when then I took a break and then went for my master's.
Got it.
And that's why I took master's in international business also. Because I said, I don't even know what I want to major in. So this has marketing also, this has finance also. I'll just do this and then I'll figure out.
Got it.
And then I did my master's. I got I ranked there as well. And then 6 months through that, because I met so many people from different nationalities, I got that bug, like, let's go work abroad. And for 6 months, I applied to, I don't even know how many jobs. And I didn't know French, so I had to apply to a lot of jobs in France. And then I got 2 offers and I took social.
You wanted to work in France because?
The true answer, I just met a lot of people from France. I wanted to go abroad and have an experience. I got exposed to the French culture, so it was like already having one level into it.
Yeah.
I started meeting these new people, and I felt like if I'm doing it only, might as well do it fully. Like go somewhere you don't know the language also, you don't know
Yeah.
anybody, but it's fully foreign.
Yeah.
And Paris seemed like quite a dreamy this thing, no? So
Fair
I was
enough.
like, okay, this is it when I got that
So
offer.
Sociable came about.
Sociable came
Your early role was about
was sales. I was doing sales for the English-speaking European market.
for the English-speaking European
Because
market.
European market, you have a lot of European market who don't speak French,
Yeah,
right?
of
Who will
course.
want English. So that's the role I was filling in with my expertise of not knowing French.
How was that experience of a girl who's gone to France for the first time, probably,
Yeah.
and now doesn't speak French but is working in a French organization and doing sales, which requires a lot
Yeah.
of.
It was
Obviously,
a
it was
lot
in
of
English.
learning. Again, I think I didn't overthink a lot of it, which I'm glad that's how I was behaving that way. So I didn't feel like, oh, woman, or oh, anything like that. It was just, I was learning. Again, I think I got very lucky with managers in life. So
Yeah.
my CEO, who's still the CEO of the company,
Yeah.
I was just, I loved his approach. I think he's inherently equal, as a person.
Yeah.
I think you can tell when someone by action is equal. He doesn't need to promote gender equity.
Yeah.
He just does it.
Yeah.
There are enough women in the company. There are women in management. There are people getting paid the right way, the same way, getting
So
the same
the
promotion
energy
opportunities.
is equal itself.
And it's lasted even now, whether it was maternity leave, whether when I had a baby, whether I see other women having a baby in the company. I
Wow.
think that's what it is. It's not about running a Women's Day campaign. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's this.
That's all talk, but this is like
This
walking
is
the
so
talk.
I got very lucky, I think, with him, and that's why I love the company so much. I love what they were doing, and I just didn't want to leave. I wanted to leave the country, but I didn't want to leave the company, and that's why this was the next step.
I almost feel like the importance of a manager for women is
Huge.
slightly higher than it is for a man, because we look at the job, maybe we look at the pay, we look at career growth, etc. But for a woman, what are the factors that come to mind when you think about choosing a manager, especially in this phase of life where it can make or break for your
Yeah.
corporate experience or your professional experience?
I think it's huge. So if I talk for myself, for example, having a woman as a manager in the beginning, so early on, made me feel like it was normal.
Yeah.
So at 19, if you're seeing an all-women's team and you're seeing a manager
Yeah.
who's killing it, for you, this is normal.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking, oh, only men are doing it, like women are not doing it. So I think that's the first. It normalizes. Role models are important, right? If I don't see
Yeah.
women, what is this whole women having it all? And if I don't see women who are mothers but who are also working and having that, if I don't see it enough, it becomes harder for me to believe it.
Yeah.
So I think that's number one, just the role model. And two is, of course, they become advocates for you, right? And men as well. Like my CEO is a man, and I've been 7.5 years in the company because he's great with gender equity.
Yeah.
I think it's just his belief system, his approach, it comes naturally to him.
So, what qualities would you say are green flags? Whether it's a woman or a man, because there are a lot of perspectives around
Yeah.
औरत ही औरत की दुश्मन है or a woman manager is what one should prefer. But let's keep it equal for the sake of this discussion.
I
and
would
say
really
what,
want to first, because
Yeah.
first, I don't believe in either of those.
Yeah.
I don't think either of those phenomena are true. If feminism overall is not anti-men
Exactly.
or about pitting women against
Exactly.
each other. It's more about equality, right? So I firstly feel, I'll answer your first question, what is a green flag? Look around. For me, it was so obvious that this is the right place to be, because it's not just about you. If you see what's happening around you,
Yeah.
are there women in management?
Yeah.
Are there moms who are still working, and is their performance being
Yeah.
and do they look happy, and are they getting promoted, or are they stuck,
Yeah.
or are they leaving after maternity? Everyone's leaving. You can see these things around, right? Then of course it's personal, like attributes of the manager, whether they're advocating for you,
Yeah.
whether they're giving you those opportunities, and whether they talk to you the same way, whether they interrupt you more than they interrupt a man. Those small things, you'll get an idea.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way to look at it.
Got it. So you did some work in Paris. You probably felt comfortable in that sales role. What changed that you decided to move back to India? And then how did you manage that situation with your employer?
I think first you see a pattern. It's been like as soon
Yeah.
as I know that I've got what I
Fingers
needed
crossed
from.
this works out. Yeah.
I think I saw opportunity for the company and myself.
Yeah.
And I felt like it's a good thing to try and to speak to my
Yeah.
CEO about.
What opportunity is
I
this?
felt like the product was amazing.
Sorry, I'll cut you off.
Yeah.
I need to understand the product. So I was asking you a bit before the shoot as well. But
It's for employee communication and employee engagement.
okay, so if I am a user,
Yeah. Your company will buy it, so
Got
it's
it.
B2B. So let's
Got
say you
it.
work at L'Oreal
yeah,
and L'Oreal buys Sociabble
Yeah.
and they buy 1,000 licenses because they have 1,000 employees. So
Yeah.
1,000 employees get onboarded and
Yeah.
through the mobile app and through the web app, they have access to now whatever L'Oreal communication team
Yeah.
puts out. Whether it's job offers, whether it is the values of the company, whether it's an event is happening, whether the colleagues are sharing pictures.
Vision and
everything,
marketing
all of that.
content, all
Yeah,
of it.
marketing, social media content, what the company is putting up, everything at one place.
yeah. How does it help? What's the pitch for the?
The pitch is one, it helps the company navigate that is my messaging even reaching the employee.
Yeah.
You can track it. It's
Yeah.
on the go. So whether the employee is in the factory or they're in the office or they're at home, they
Yeah.
can all access it.
Yeah.
Because it's also on the mobile app.
Yeah.
And advocacy. So the fact that your employees can become your best ambassadors online.
Got it. So you're
Instead
also
of influencer
tracking.
marketing, use your employees as the best influencers.
Got it. So you're also
You're
tracking
tracking
their
all that as well.
offline.
Yeah. Through whatever they do through the platform. So if through the platform they share a post that the company has shared on their personal social media and then 10 people click on it, they'll know.
Interesting. So what made you think this will work in India?
Because India has a huge employee base. First,
Yeah.
I just felt like from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
Two, we do have this issue of disconnected workforce. Like a lot of people are at the factories at the front, and we have so many blue collar workforce. Then they never on Teams, they never on Microsoft ka the basic tools. So this like gets everybody together.
Yeah.
And I thought I saw that in the next few years. I knew it was not ready. That
Yeah.
it would take a few years, and we are early.
Yeah.
But I thought that it would all like grow, and it is right now.
Got it. So you came back, you started working for Sociabble. Obviously, the team grew and the business was more established. Now there is an Indian entity
Yes.
of the company as well. So you've been married for 4 years now?
5 years. Yeah.
5. Oh, wow. And so how did, if anything, changed? How did it change? And how did you think about it? Because so one of the things that really surprised me was that the root cause of gender inequality, or at least in the pay gap that we have for men versus women, is pregnancy. So we are not there yet in this story, but from a change in priorities perspective, there are a lot more variables involved. It tends to happen that even if everyone wants the woman to have a career and wants to create this whole facade of support, to manage and to struggle through that phase where you have competing priorities is a challenge. So walk me through that phase.
I think again, gonna call privilege again. This is not even financial privilege. I think my biggest privilege is probably this, which is I didn't feel it during marriage.
Yeah.
I did feel it during maternity, and I'll
Yeah.
talk about that. But I didn't feel it during marriage at all. If
Yeah.
anything, I think it was a boost to my career. I now was living with my best friend who I could share ideas
Yeah.
with, and we were just doing life together, right?
Yeah.
I didn't feel a change now, and I would say big props to that for my in-laws. We don't stay alone. We
Yeah.
do stay with my in-laws, and there was never a distinction. And what I mean by that, I'll give concrete examples because this is where you said there's a difference between facade of support and
Yeah.
actual support.
Yeah.
If I am taking a call, I'm not disturbed the same way if my husband's taking a call.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Small things. If I'm working and I've not left the chair, my mother-in-law will come and give me dry fruits like she would give my husband. You know, and these
Yeah.
are small things, but they are the biggest things that make a difference. I didn't feel ever, and this is not just saying it, but I've never felt a difference
Yeah, that's
in the way my career has been treated to his.
what do you think are the green flags for selecting a partner? I skipped that part. So I think people would love
It's
to
the
hear
biggest
about
career
it.
decision by
Yeah.
the way for women.
Yeah. It is a pivotal, fundamentally important decision.
I'm trying to find the best way to answer this between being a romantic and being practical. So I really think that you marry for love, right? Otherwise, especially for women, there's no real other good reason you should get married,
Wow.
really, unless you're in love with the person. For me, the best way to evaluate that is be very clear with yourself and have the right level of self-respect and self-love. So for me, if I had to bridge the gap between the romantic and the practical the way I do it is that I would not fall in love with a person if he didn't meet those green flags of the fact that he respected my career the same way, he respected me the same way. Because I don't think I can fall in love with the person otherwise, right? Because you
Yeah.
fall in love with the traits that you want.
Yeah.
So that's my way of bridging the gap. So I think the first thing is to know this exists, because I think a lot of women are also told compromise, though you have to only do this, does
Yeah.
not exist, get out of fantasy world. It's not fantasy world.
Yeah.
First you have to understand that this exists.
These are basic requisites of a healthy relationship.
Exactly. And that's how you don't settle. That being said, I again want to acknowledge that everyone's situations are different.
Yeah.
So you need to get realistic with your situation. And that's what I always say, even whether you're having it all, whatever that means. So for me, it was very important that I marry for love. That's the person really loves me and respects me and respects my career, etc. I was okay if they are not going to fund my life, right?
Yeah.
I'm being very honest here. That was not, I'm equally contributing to our life for the rest of our lives. You can't, what also sometimes happens, some people have a different priority.
Yeah.
It's important we are honest with ourselves first.
True.
So for some people, it is important. They are okay because they maybe don't want to work also. We need to be very honest and understand where you are
That's
first.
fine. It's not a given that everyone
It's
loves
not a
to
given. I wish it was just not a given regardless of gender, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's just not a given only for women.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then they are agreeing that, it's important for me that this person is financially, taking care of me.
Yeah.
And if that means that my career is not as supported, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm trying to say?
So how do you reason with that woman? For example, I have a lot of friends who say, hey, I don't want to work rigorously. The man can.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a choice. So two people come together. Let's take it as a pure contract of, hey, you bring this to the relationship and I bring that.
Yeah.
How do you reason with this situation and on the other hand say that we are equals? Do you say that there are other aspects that the woman brings in, whether it's empathy, EQ, managing the family, because those are things that we can't quantify.
No, for
and then
sure,
we use
that's a
terms
very
like,
important point, because can a man give birth? Can a man get pregnant? Can a man breastfeed?
Not
No.
yet.
So as far as we know, a man cannot give birth, get pregnant or breastfeed. These are, at least if you're having just one child, at least 2 years of that.
Yeah.
Right? Now, how you navigate that, as you said, so that way, that's not equal, right? You can't say this plus 50-50 financially. You can't quantify the equality.
Yeah.
Every partnership is very different.
So if I have to be this Anu auntie standing at the balcony, I'd say so much stress on the relationship where two people are trying to balance the act every day. Do I have access to this? Do you have access to this? Is there an equal opportunity? Is there not? And very often you hear people who have contrary views say that, oh, because women have started having a career, there is a certain level of friction. You have more decisions to make. You have more compromises to make. And that is causing a lot of imbalance in relationships. And that's why our relationships don't last longer. And I see this as collateral damage. For a generation to change, for the next few generations to change, there will be some friction. How do you look at it?
So it's true there is more friction. It's bound to happen. It's because it's a lot of things are interconnected. First, women could not leave bad marriages or even have a say sometimes when they're getting married. Big one, financial backing. And when I say financial backing, in two ways. Today, women's families support them more.
Yeah.
So women didn't have that ability to go back to their house.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that more now, that their family will be like, no, you be happy.
Yeah.
Second, a lot of more women are working, right?
Yeah.
So they have their own family. That's a big step, because first, no matter what you are, at the end of the day, practically, and especially if you have kids, what will you do?
Yeah.
So people were unhappy relationships also, right? That's why, yes, it's normal divorce rates
Of
are going
course.
high. It's normal. People are getting married later. I think also things like that. It's true. You get more set in your ways, right?
Yeah.
You have more, when you're getting married at 19, 20, 21, where you're figuring out, we just went through my entire life. I was getting married at that time. I don't know how much I would be able to stand up myself, because I only didn't know what I want. It's like life is happening to you, right? And then suddenly you have kids also, and then
No,
you're there.
that suddenly you have kids part is what I wanted to touch on before we move forward. So you must have thought it through, obviously, and planned this out. I hear a lot of my female friends saying, because it's a lot of work, some of them are scared of pregnancies. Some of them think that they're so passionate about their careers that a 2 3 year break scares them. Some of them think that things will change after pregnancy, uh, from their body to their priorities, and ultimately the burden of taking care or managing things will come on them. Let's talk about timing first. You're growing in your career, and obviously you have a lot more dreams to achieve things professionally. So how do you think about timing it right, and what are the factors you take into consideration when you make that decision?
So for me, like I said, of course, the non-practical side of it, a lot of it is gut. I felt like this is the right time. The practical side of it, you consider a couple of things. So for me, career-wise, I felt like I was at a place where I had done a lot of things and I had the base work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I still have a lot of work to do. At least I had an idea, okay, I need to do this here, I need to do this here, and it's easier that
Yeah,
way, right?
yeah.
So I felt like that I had. Third, of course, you can't escape the biology of it.
Yeah.
There is a biological clock. Yes, there are other ways like egg freezing and a lot of different things that are great now, and you can do that. For me personally, if I had the choice, I didn't want to go down that route, because that also takes effort.
Yeah.
It takes money, it takes time, it takes emotional energy, it takes a lot
Yeah.
that I didn't feel I wanted to invest. And if I could do things, if I was lucky enough to do things the natural way, that's what I wanted to do.
And do you think this is a woman's decision?
100%.
Yeah.
Because
so there is no equity
of
here.
course, there is,
Yeah.
in the sense that at the end of the day, you can't keep your partner completely out of it. You're having a baby together, and it's not only
Surprise.
it's not only emotional, it's also financial responsibility that you're
Yeah.
going to share. It's a lot of other things,
Yeah.
and depending on how that's set up with each team, you have to work as a team. It's the only
Yeah.
way it works. The other thing is, if your answer to when women are scared, I coach a lot of moms. It's something
Yeah.
out of all my coaching clients, my favorite side of it is coaching mom, because like you said, we lose a lot of women, lose themselves, and we lose a lot of women from the workforce also
Yeah.
during this point. So it's actually a really big issue we have, especially here, but globally, not just in India. And I feel the answer is yes, because we cannot tell women, don't worry, it won't change much. It will change.
Yeah.
So if you go in unprepared, that's not going to change. So I went in knowing that changes are going to happen, but
Yeah.
I'm excited about the change. They don't need to be bad changes.
Yeah.
They can mean things will be different. It doesn't mean things will be bad. But
Yeah.
it is a lot, especially for today's women who are working, as you said, and who maybe are passionate about their career. It's the first time. Like I said, I didn't feel it during marriage much.
Yeah.
Many others feel it, but at least for me, I didn't feel it. But during motherhood, everyone feels it. Regardless of you can have money, you can have support, you can have
Facilities,
everything, and
all
you'll
of it,
still
yeah.
feel it, because it's the first time in your life you will not have control over a lot of things.
Yeah.
And if you're a woman, especially because women, you've sort of fought your way into having a career, you will feel a lack of control, because I can't even put it into words.
Especially
it's
the
the first time.
ambitious,
It's everything. You can't. You're literally getting. There's a lot of. You don't know how your pregnancy will go.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that, I worked through my entire pregnancy, but
Yeah.
my pregnancy went fine.
Yeah.
It cannot go fine also. Birth went fine. I had 6 months of maternity. After that, I had support, and my baby didn't have any complications to need me more. There's a lot of
Yeah.
nuances that we need
Yeah.
to think about. The way I encourage women to look at it is, that's what I mean by define your version of having it all. We are not the same, and direct advice does not work. I cannot pretend that I have all the answers here, because it's not going to work. What is your financial situation? What is your support system? What is your mental health?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things, and I feel life is long.
Yeah.
So for me, I had prepped everything that's one thing that helps a lot. I'd prepped everything, whether it was a role change internally at my job,
Yeah.
exactly what I would be taking care of after or no, so that things are okay when I'm on maternity.
Yeah.
Whether it was taking a call, I'm not trying to coach 10,000 women in 1 year. That's
Yeah.
not my goal, because my goal is I enjoy my day job. I really want to coach women where I can actually create an impact, and I want to enjoy my son
Yeah.
and still have a life and work out and be healthy. So I cannot have 10,000. So it's about really defining what works for you, set goals according to that, and then go after it. Then you can have it all.
Right. No, this is a great segue into the life coach bit, and I'm going to be the devil's advocate here and also honest. I have always looked at life coaching as subsidiaries of the Jay Shetties of the world who are going around giving gyan. The reason is that I feel the ambitious kind, the informed kind, always looks for very specific, actionable insights. And to me and to a few people I know, a life coach means you're trying to inspire people who have no other sources of genuine motivation. But that's because I don't understand it well.
Yeah.
To someone as dumb as me who doesn't understand this space, tell me what being a life coach means, and share a couple of stories or an impactful story that can help us understand the role that a life coach can play.
See, I love the fact that such human behavior where we question things like coaching, for example,
Yeah.
if it's creating a positive impact in whatever way, but we'll never question like financial things that are probably happening at a larger scale in
True.
probably much muckier ground, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
but to answer the question, it's in fact what I love about coaching, true coaching. And here's the problem: first, coaching is not a regulated industry, which
Yeah.
means you don't need to technically be certified yet to be a coach. More and more, the knowledge is increasing that ICF certification is a good indicator of a credible
Yeah.
coach.
Which is why the fluff.
Exactly. But you have coaches who are
Yeah.
not certified, etc., because it's not required. Okay. That being said, true coaching, if you go under ICF and you get trained under ICF, teaches you exactly this. It's what spoke to me. Coaching is not mentoring.
Yeah.
I didn't want to become a mentor because I feel mentoring is direct advice.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to me and says, can you be my mentor? It's me telling them what to do. And honestly, I feel whichever phase you are in life, you're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Okay. What I love about coaching is you're taught exercises, tools, the right way of questioning, how to hold space for someone, how to hold silence to help them find their own answers.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, if someone comes to me and says, you know what, I'm struggling to figure what to do next in my career, I'm missing something, etc. So it's holding that space to help her, I say her because I only coach women, to figure out what is it where that feeling is coming from, what is it that she wants to do, and then build an action plan together. It's like just having a partner. Today
Yeah.
there's so much noise and everyone is so busy. If you have someone who's taken the time to learn these methods and gives you that hour
Yeah.
of complete attention where you can focus on yourself and then find your own answers and then have an action plan you can stay accountable to from one session to the other, you start seeing real results. That's how I have, if you read any testimonial,
Yeah.
it's these sort of things. It's things like, oh, I found a job because what happened is belief system. It's not anyway.
Yeah.
It's like saying I'll tell you one. I had a working mom of three, single mom,
Yeah.
3 kids. And she was working for a company and she was feeling like this thing, I want to be home when my kids come home. There was a lot
Yeah,
of this, but
I'll
she
miss
still wanted to
their
work and she
childhood.
had to work also, and a lot of this. Exactly. And because there was this belief system that I cannot potentially, I have a job. It's asking for too much if now I'm going to say I want a job that I like also, that gives me remote work also, and still pays me this much, I'm being ridiculous. That was the
Yeah,
belief system.
yeah.
Once we worked on changing that belief system, she actually today moved to she's there at home when she gets to pick up her kids from school, which was her
Wow.
main thing. She's still working, of course, and she's working at a company that's very aligned with her. Like you feel come alive, right? It's no magic and it's not me. Honestly, that's what I love about coaching. It's her. It's about helping women find what's inside them and come up to their potential.
Acting as a catalyst.
It's just acting as a catalyst. That's all it is.
Yeah. So how would you differentiate between a good friend and a coach?
That's a very good question. I think one, no matter how good a friend, usually everyone is very in their head today.
Yeah.
Okay, if you spend even 1 hour where someone's not touched their phone, you have a very good friend. So
Yeah.
first is that. It's not anyone's fault. It's just
Yeah,
the way it
the
works,
world
right?
we live
Whereas
in.
if you have someone who you're paying,
Yeah.
who's giving you that dedicated one, they have to be there giving you full presence and active listening is what I call. They're
Yeah.
not just hearing you; they're listening. Okay.
Yeah.
Second, when you talk to a friend, what do? They will give you advice
Yeah.
because it's the natural thing to do.
Yeah.
Whereas again, that way you're not getting to find, you're not someone's not sitting down and making you do exercises or asking you the right questions so that you figure, oh, actually, this is what I was thinking. Maybe I should do this. This is my answer now. Let's make this plan. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then at the end of the day, accountability. Now, to what extent? At the end of the day, your friend also has his or her own goals, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to sit down every week with you and say, okay, how much progress you made now? Let's change this. What's not working? So that's
Yeah.
the main difference. It's
The
not
follow
taking
up.
from that.
If friends followed up better, they could be.
I don't think you can ever take that.
Yeah.
Also, friends come from a bias.
Yeah.
It can be a positive. Like, I don't coach friends ever.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I will have a bias about them first, because maybe I've grown up with them. I can't take that
Yeah.
away, whatever I do. So
Yeah.
there's a bias. You need an unbiased person who's just
Neutral listener.
Yeah, exactly. That's also a big difference.
Very cool. I love this, and I will try to change my perspective on life coaches
Try a
because this
coaching
is-
session. I think
yeah,
I should
yeah,
have.
yeah. I'm sold. This is my favorite part of the show, which is the Startup Kira segment. I know you're doing multiple things, wearing multiple hats. You have a very diverse perspective now that you're playing so many roles. So, this is a segment where you assume that you have unlimited resources, and now you're fantasy land, and now you're in a position to stop doing what you're doing professionally and think of a startup. So, think of a problem that's close to your heart or that you think will make you a lot of money, and we can collaborate. I don't want to put you on the spot, but tell us how Krusha, the entrepreneur or the professional or the ambitious woman, thinks about solving a problem, and if you could actually pursue it, what would you use as a framework?
If you ask my husband, he'll tell you I would get ideas all the time. Then he's like, "Bus, you can't do anything
Yeah.
more right now. Like, wait little." So I think there are lots, but it would come. I feel like, for example, I see older people. I think I would like to do something there. I don't know exactly what, but honestly, I really believe in the step by step, which is why it's very hard for me to answer this question.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm probably struggling to answer it because I feel like the vision is, if I just take this vision, if what I've just taken,
Yeah.
that I'm
Where
coaching today,
blinders
I've coached say 200 hours
Yeah.
in just this year or whatever.
Wow.
If I could make that a lot more, and if this one story I told you like that, I have at least like couple
Yeah.
of stories of this. If I could just increase those number of stories, then those women will also be going ahead and doing cool things and creating their own impact, I'm sure.
No, this is very powerful. I hope you're able to reach many more women in the coming
hope so.
years. And I'm glad you made time for this. I think this is the first time I'm speaking to someone who has perspective on the issue of being a partner and a mom, because I have a lot of friends who are scared of this phase of life, and some of them who are very excited as well. So this perspective will help, I'm sure, a lot of women as well. So thank you so much, Krusha. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so
And,
much for having me. It was a fun conversation.
Likewise. So, thank you all for watching. I hope there are women in some corners of the world who are seeing this and took a bit from this conversation. And I'm sure you can reach out to Krusha if you want to know more or if you need some life coaching. And whether you like, subscribe, or share this or not is unimportant. I'd appreciate if you can share this with someone who really needs to hear this. Thank you.